Here are the countries where women outnumber men. When you see the beautiful northern Mariana Islands, you start dreaming about living alone in these almost deserted islands and what you could do there for your retirement. Wake up from your dream because the reality is different from what you imagine. The Mariana Islands are actually a chain of several islands formed by the emerged peaks of 15 volcanic mountains located in the eastern Philippine Sea. These islands are subdivided into two American territories, the island of Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands. With their 1,020 kilometers square, the Northern Mariana Islands are very populated, contrary to what we see on the pictures. In 2010, these American islands already had 213,241 inhabitants. We have even more to tell you. According to the 2021 CIA World Factbook data, the Northern Mariana Islands male-to-female ratio is 93 males per 100 females, a rate lower than the world average of 101 males per 100 females. So goodbye to your dream of living alone in one of the Mariana Islands. You're going to have to plan something else for your old age. You are disappointed, but you know what to expect now. All you know about Mexico is fajitas, salsa, chili peppers, tequila, and sombreros. But you don't know anything about the country's demographics. Put on your boots, we're going to take a little trip to the land of guacamole and mariachis. As soon as you set foot in Mexico, you will notice that the men, although very beautiful and very caliente, are less numerous than the women. And this is not us saying it, it is the statistics that confirm it. Mexico has a population of more than 128,649,565 inhabitants, making it the 10th most populous country in the world. 52.2% of the population are women and almost 79% live in urban areas. The country's indigenous population is approximately 16 million, which is divided into 68 different ethnic and linguistic groups. 52% of women means that you only have a 48% chance of finding a handsome Mexican man to end your life with. Too bad for you. Now that you have seen the reality, let's go back to France. You may not have a Latino husband, but you have learned during this trip how to make guacamole. That's something. The very critical political situation between Russia and Ukraine worries you a little, and to understand what is going on between the two countries, you decide to read a little on the internet. And in doing so, you learn some very interesting things you didn't know before. One of the most recent statistics released in 2019 states that Russia was by far the largest country, with an area of over 17 million square kilometers. And in these 17 million square kilometers live 146,170,015 inhabitants. For density, you will find in each kilometer square 8.4 inhabitants. For density, you will find in each kilometer square 8.4 inhabitants. And in these 8.4 inhabitants, there will always be more women than men. Indeed, in Russia, there are only 86 men for every 100 women. And this is surely due to the Second World War, since the country lost about 27 million people, 20 million of whom were men. So the gap has remained pronounced until today, especially because of unhealthy lifestyle, smoking, cardiovascular diseases, and accidents, and early deaths due to excessive alcohol consumption, which does not help the situation. With what is happening now, you are not more reassured about the fate of Russian men. But don't worry, Putin, also known Putin, will find a solution, as always. You don't know more about the disastrous political situation in Russia, but you do know more about its demographic situation. You are a big fan of Bollywood movies, but you deplore the fact that in most of the choreographies, they feature more women than men. Do you want to know why? Fine, then put on your sari and follow me. India has a population of 1,326,093,247, which is a density of 403 inhabitants per kilometer square. It's sure that with so many people around you, you don't think much about whether there are more women than men. So, we'll tell you. In this beautiful country, there are now 1,020 women for every 1,000 men. Whereas in 1990, there were 927 women for every 1,000 men. The situation has been reversed in just a few years. So, since there are more women, we have to find them a job. And as they are all pretty and well sculpted, we inevitably put them in front of the camera in Bollywood movies. It is logical. Of course, you can guess that this was a joke, that everything we just told you has nothing to do with the choreography of Bollywood movies. You feel a little naive to have believed it. Don't worry, everything we've told you about statistics is real. You don't have the answer to your question, but at least you are informed about the demographic situation in India. You often hear about Estonia, but you don't know much about this northern European country, unknown to tourists. Today I'm going to teach you some things about this beautiful country. Do you follow me? Estonia, known by its blue and black flag, shares its land borders with Russia in the east and Latvia in the south. It has an area of 45,339 kilometers square. On all this territory, 1,228,624 Estonians live, well, especially Estonians. Estonia is one of the countries with more women than men, with a percentage of 54% of the total population of the country. Women are in the majority compared to men, according to the most recent statistics, which is not negligible. This is surely due to the life expectancy, which is 82 years for women and 72 for men. Well, unfortunately, you will be disappointed, because I don't know much about Estonia either, but you know at least that they have more women than men. You never know if one day you're asked, you will have the answer. You know that there is a country called Ukraine, and that it was formerly part of the USSR. However, you have never really been interested in this small country, which is overshadowed, a little nod to our Russian friends. But now that it is in the center of all the attention, and that it is a bit because of it that you pay more for your diesel, you would like to learn some things about it. So put on a heavy coat and let's go to Ukraine. This country has a population of about 43,952,299 inhabitants. And among all these inhabitants, of which a part comes from neighboring countries, there are more women than men. Joking aside, the factor responsible for this considerable gap is once again the Second World War, and in particular the post-World War II emigration. On the other hand, at birth, there are 106 boys for every 100 little girls. Why are the rates regressing? We will let Putin answer us. You are shivering with cold? Decidedly, Ukraine, it doesn't suit you. Now, if you ever attend a big debate on the Ukrainian-Russian war and you don't know what to say, you can always play it smart and throw this little info on the male-female ratio in Ukraine, just to avoid feeling a bit stupid. You are a girl, you like Georgia, and you dream to go and live there. Before considering any project there, listen to me because you need to know some things. We are in 2022, and despite that, Georgia is still a very traditionalist society. Traditionalist also means sometimes a bit sexist. Let's call a spade a spade. In Georgia, there are 91.3 men for every 100 women. So, if you're planning to get married there, your chances of finding your ideal man are relatively low. The fact that women are more numerous means that they have the least crazy job in the world, that of housewife, because it is necessary above all to make the men work. Added to this is a society that does not support them and favors the male condition, as well as a justice that does not put itself on their side when it comes to defending them against aggressions made on them. But we will not dwell on this subject because it is very delicate. I know that you're shocked and disappointed because you had a false image of this country, which is nevertheless very beautiful. Swallow your sadness and consider yourself rather happy that you did not book your ticket to Georgia. You have already been to Turkey and noticed that there were more boys than girls running around in the streets. So you will ask me why I'm talking about Turkey in this video. I will answer you. But for that, we fly to Istanbul. In Turkey, the ratio of men to women is very close since officially there are almost as many men as women. And at birth, there are 105 newborn babies for every 100 little girls. However, as they grow up, the gap widens. This means that from a certain age onwards, women start to become more numerous. That is to say, from the age of 54, there will be more women, about 100 for every 99 men. And when they pass 65, there will be only 80 men for every 100 women. It is necessary to believe that old age does not suit them too well to these Turks. You have walked a lot in the streets of Istanbul today. You are exhausted. It is time to go back now. You understand better why the men do not make long fire in Turkey. By dint of eating lokum, inevitably the heart does not hold more. You are in Hong Kong for a few days, and since you arrived, something intrigues you. Why do you have the impression to see only women around you? Well, the answer is both simple and surprising. Hong Kong currently has about 7,619,268 inhabitants, the majority of whom are women. According to the latest statistics, there are 3,607,226 men and 4,012,041 women, which is more than 52% of the population. You who wanted to make friends during this day are in a bad situation. On the other hand, there are so many pretty girls that at the end of this trip you will certainly be accompanied by a beautiful young woman. What do the people want? Your history teacher has asked you to do some research for a class project, and as luck would have it, you are working on Armenia. Ouch! This is a country you know nothing about. Don't worry, we're going to help you, or at least we're going to try. Let's get to the point and talk about the demography of this former Soviet republic. Armenia counts today about 2,987,043 inhabitants. The male population is 1,390,000, while the female population is 1,596,726, which is 53% of the total. This is not to point the finger at the war again, but anyway, Armenia is one of the countries where there are more women than men. Well, you still have a lot of work and research to do on this country, but you've done most of the work. Now you can focus on its culture, geography, and cuisine. You'll have something to surprise your teacher and classmates with tomorrow in class. You rarely hear about Latvia, and you would like to learn more about this beautiful country, which also has a lot to tell you about the Second World War. Would you like to go to Latvia? Since July 2021, Latvia is recognized as the country with the highest ratio of women to men in the EU. In this country, the mortality rate is also very high because of alcoholism, smoking, dangerous behavior on the road, etc. Also, women have a higher life expectancy than men by 11 years. This means that in Latvia, there are 17% more women than men, or only 84 men for every 100 women. Once again, the Second World War is partly responsible for this glaring gap. You are left wanting to know more about Latvia, but I don't know any more than you do about their culture or food, let alone their politics. But at least you have some demographic data about Latvia. Now tell us in the comments what you think about these countries where women outnumber men, and don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.